Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Barry Tatum, and this is another episode of Talking with Tatum, where we try to talk with people in our community who are doing some really great things and have got an experience they'd like to share. And today, we're pleased to have Miss Sandy Anderson of the Wilson County School System.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, I hope you can say that when we get done with our interview, but you've got a really good topic to talk about, and that's about adult education.
It is. It's a passion of mine. I've been in adult education for 15 years now, and there's just not anything else that's better to me.
Well, you've done a lot of good and about helping folks, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but tell us a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? And how did you wind up in Wilson County?
I grew up in South Georgia and Waycross, Georgia. I lived there for 35 years. I met my husband, John. We've been married now for 22 years, and his mother was sick, and that's how we got up here. We've moved back to help take care of her.
And did he grow up here?
He's actually a transplant as well. He is originally from Delaware, and he moved down here when he was 16.
Okay.
So we're both transplants, but we call it home now.
Well, I mean, it is home. It's a good fit. Seems like for a lot of people. I've lived here my whole life, but you know, I've known a bunch of people that have moved in from different places, and next thing you know, they're neighbors, just like anybody else. But adult education. When did you teach when you were down in Georgia?
I did not. I actually worked in the oil industry. I loved it. I worked in it for about 7 or 8 years. And when we moved up here, we lived in Charleston County, and a friend of mine, Mr. Satterfield, called up one day and said, "Hey, would you like to come work in adult education?"
Talk about director of schools.
Director of schools.
And football coach.
Yes, sir. Very good man. Called one day and just asked if I wanted to do that. And so it's not something that people dream about when they're children and they say, "I want to grow up, I'm going to be an adult ed." But I kind of came into it sideways and love it. It's just the best, most rewarding job there is, I believe.
And when you talk about adult education, adult legally is 18 or older.
It is.
But you're trying to help folks who, for whatever reason, did not earn a high school diploma by the time they were 18 or 19 years old.
Yes, sir.
And you had the program over in Charleston County. You've got it here in Lebanon. Right now, as we speak, roughly how many folks are y'all working with towards earning a diploma?
This year, we have exceeded, we're going to exceed how many we had last year. Last year, we served about 550 students.
550?
Yes, sir, and we have about 470 today. So we're not very far from beating our goal from last year. So this year so far, our program, we serve students in the jail. We have students in Wilson County, in Lebanon, and in Mount Juliet. We have an ESL program that is just skyrocketing. But we also serve those who maybe want to go back to college and need a little bit of help. For example, we have some students there that are studying for their HESI, their nursing entrance exam. So we've been successful and helped a few people get into nursing school. So there's a lot of different things that we do in adult education.
So we're not just talking about what used to be called a GED.
No, sir.
It's now called the high set.
It is, but what's our running joke in adult education is if you stay in long enough, it just all comes back. So this year, the state of Tennessee also has a new pathway. So there's 3 different ways that you can get your high school equivalency diploma, and that is the high set. They've reintroduced the GED, and then a newer pathway where you can have a combination of different things. So.
Well, so many jobs today, and I mean our society has changed. It used to be that a person didn't necessarily have to finish high school and could have a successful career. They could get a steady job that had health insurance, that paid a good wage with promotion opportunities,
Right.
and could do well. But so many jobs today do require a high school diploma. And do you get a lot of that where somebody picks up the phone or drops you a note in some way and says, I applied for this job, I was able to do it, I had all kinds of experience, but I couldn't get it because I was lacking the diploma?
Absolutely, absolutely. That happens almost daily.
Okay.
So we are happy to help those, and even further than that, when they get their high school equivalency diploma, we can then help them with training. So we have a career coach on our staff that will help them find a job,
Okay.
help them get into college. So in today's world, because there are just so many different pathways to work, as you're saying, but it is a challenge when you don't have the right education. And so our career coach can help them find a job and find something that they're going to enjoy, and even go to college. So with your HSC, you can go to any school. We have students that go to Harvard, Vanderbilt, just
Really?
any college will accept it, and any job that we're aware of. So we don't know of any that won't.
Well, I mean, if somebody calls up, say they didn't finish the 11th grade, and they've earned some high school credits, maybe not the full amount they could have learned at that time for whatever reason. When they call you about following up on an adult education and earning a diploma, is there a application process? Is there a cost for it? And
It's absolutely free, but this is one of the things that I would love to acknowledge our Director of Schools, Jeff Luttrell, and the prior Director of Schools. Wilson County has been a very visionary school system. So in Wilson County, we are very lucky that we have a BTA which encompasses a lot of non-traditional pathways. So we have the opportunity to be here with me at the Adult Learning Center, but we have the adult high school, we have an online school, and that's also where our MAP Academy is. But as you were saying, if a person has some high school credits, we'll look to see how many credits they have, because if they are close to graduating, we obviously want them to get a high school diploma, so we will send them over to the adult high school.
okay.
The counselors in our school system is very good at identifying those students who are not going to graduate in their senior year. So they'll look to see how many credits they have and try to decide what pathway is correct for them. So if they just need a few, they'll send them over to the adult high school. But if they're severely undercredited, they can come to us at the Adult Learning Center.
So there's an evaluation process where you can look at it and say, well, this might take you a year and a half.
Right.
This is a way to earn it in 90 days. Is that
That's
accurate?
fair. It is fair. Right now, we do have a fast track, meaning that someone could finish in a few weeks. It just depends on the person, how many skills they're lacking. At our school, we don't look at their credits that they're lacking. It is really, we identify what skills they need, and we help them to pass the HiSET test.
So when you're talking about skills, you're talking about mastery of a subject,
Yes.
like in mathematics or English language
That's right.
type thing. So there's a application process. Part of that is once you determine the credits or lack thereof, then you also look at, well, let's take an aptitude test and see which portions you can pass.
Right.
And get those out of the way and then work on the ones we need to work on.
That's exactly how it works.
Okay. As far as, you said there's no cost for any of this.
It's completely free.
And it can be done online. And as far as somebody who's maybe raising a family, got a job, maybe 2 jobs, are you able to work around that person's schedule?
We are. So with our program, we're very fortunate to have classes in Lebanon and in Mount Juliet. We have classes in the mornings, afternoons, and in the evenings as well. So that is what is helpful for those single moms, single dads, people who are working, who have childcare issues, transportation issues. We're very fortunate to have a schedule that'll fit their needs.
And as far as childcare, is that something that's included where y'all have a childcare?
We do not. We
Yeah.
don't have childcare, unfortunately. And in today's world, and especially in Wilson County too, it's difficult to find childcare, and so
Right.
we do try to work around their schedule. Like you said, we do have an online curriculum that they can work on so that it helps them out, and they have access to teachers that they can correspond with or call or come to class anytime they want to. So,
And you mentioned that not only do you give a path to earning that diploma, but that you also have a career coach.
we do.
Is there a charge for that?
It's not. Everything that we do is completely free.
Wow.
It is. It's very helpful. Our career coach currently is Melanie Powell, and she worked with Youth Links a long time ago. So she's very knowledgeable about the pathways. And so her job is that she works very closely with them as they are in our program. So when they have orientation, they will go and meet with her, and then they'll form a plan together. And then she will go step by step with them through when they finish, then whatever their next step is. If some people simply just want to work, and if that's the case, she will help them find the best job available for them. If they want to go to college, she will help research that with them, go through the steps. So it's a great opportunity for our students to be able to work directly with her.
And you said last year y'all served 550.
We did. We had 550 students last year.
Was that students who earned diplomas?
No, I wish,
Yeah.
but no, not everyone in our program is there to earn a diploma. Half of them are in our ESL program. So these are immigrants from around the world. I think we have 28 different languages that we serve from all over the world, the countries. It's been a great experience. But they are not there to earn a diploma, even though some do end up going into our high set. One of the interesting things that we have got to know our students, and we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have civil engineers, every walk of life coming to our country who are learning the language with us, and they have a lot of gifts to offer, but they want to learn English first.
Okay. Now so you have somebody who's coming in basically to learn to communicate,
Yes.
not to earn a diploma. They may have an advanced degree
Yes.
from whatever their home country is. Is there a charge for that, sir?
There's not a charge. We're part of the Wilson County Schools. Also, we partner with Workforce Essentials, and they help us pay for our ESL program and our teachers.
Okay.
But we have an example. One of our students is a gastroenterologist from France, and because he's waiting on his credentials to transfer, he doesn't speak the language. He's an Uber driver right now. So can you
A
imagine?
gastroenterologist is
Yes.
earning a living through Uber
Exactly.
and doing English as a second language class.
Yes, that is more common than what you think. It's
Wow.
been an eye-opener for me. One of the things that I found interesting is that we probably had about 20 teachers last year who taught in their home countries for 20, 30 years. And so I spoke with the school system, and we're trying to bridge that so that once we identify that they are a teacher in their home country, we're trying to pair them with the school system because, you know, we're always needing, there's a big demand for teachers and bus drivers.
Yeah.
So we're trying to fill both of those needs with our ESL students.
Do you offer any sort of transportation for people to get from their work or home?
Unfortunately, no, we don't, and that is a need. What I have found is that for most of our students, childcare and transportation are the two biggest barriers for our students.
Well, I'm sure there are a wealth of success stories that you could go back and say, this is a person who came to us needing a diploma and now they've accomplished. But in a practical term, what's the oldest student that you had earn a diploma?
So since I've been there, the oldest student is, she was 76.
76 years
76.
old? Went back to high school?
She did. She did it just more of a personal gain for herself. It was just something she wanted to accomplish. Okay. We currently have a student, he is 70, and the job that he was working, it transferred owners. And the new company required a high school diploma. And so he had...
So he had a relationship with an existing company, had the job down.
Yes.
But he needed that piece of paper.
He did. He needed the piece of paper, so he came to see us. And he's doing great, as a matter of fact, because I know it sounds a little scary going back and learning algebra at 70 and...
or younger.
Or younger. But he's doing great, and I think he'll be finished in a few weeks, actually. So it didn't take him as long as he thought it was going to.
Any other story out there that you'd like to share, you know, without sharing the name of somebody who just overcame what seemed to be insurmountable obstacles to earn a diploma?
Well, there are so many of those stories. We get to meet the most amazing people. And that is what I love about our job, is that every day you are reminded of the fortitude and the hard work that people will do to accomplish what they need to and what they can accomplish. So one of the stories that probably is the most dear is we had a student in the jail, and he was in our program for probably about 16 months in the jail. And he graduated, and when he got out recently, he was able to come back and then go into a different program that we were able to help. And they just overcome a lot, and there's just so many. Our jail program is very important to us. We've served, I think, close to 50 students just since August. And then I think we have 28 graduates in the jail right now in the last 4 months. Thank you, Carissa Oldham Henderson, who is our teacher in the jail. She's just very passionate about it.
Well, I got to attend actually a couple of your graduations that you've done from the jail. And of course, Director Luttrell spoke, and Sheriff Bryan spoke, and Senator Mark Pody spoke. And it's such an accomplishment to see somebody and I've always said this, when you earn that high school diploma, nobody can take it away from you. And that's a step in your life that, you know, when your kids get to where they don't want to go to school, I can imagine that the first thing they're going to throw up to somebody who didn't earn a diploma is, well, you never went, or you never graduated, why do I need to? But in today's age, it's critical to have that.
It is.
And I want to thank you for taking the time to share it with us, and also your staff about what you're doing over there. And but as we wrap up here, is what's the best way if somebody is looking either English as a second language, or earning a high school diploma, or getting a career coach involvement? What's the best way to reach out to Sandy Anderson or to the Adult Learning Center and get in touch with you?
Well, the best way is to give us a call. You'll talk with Miss Tracy Moore. She's just as amazing as they come. Our number is 615-443-8731. So we hope that you'll reach out and give us a call. We have a lot of people there that would love to help you.
And a lot of success stories that you have where, when somebody does get discouraged, you can say, hey, I'd like for you to talk to this person.
And you mentioned Senator Pody, and he is one of those. He
Yeah.
graduated with his GED, and he's an avid supporter, and he often says the same thing. If you have somebody that needs some encouragement, send him over to me, and I'll tell them how much their diploma matters.
Well, I told him after that graduation service, he had another meeting to be to, but he felt that was so important that he needed to be at the graduation, and his enthusiasm was real, and he had walked the walk, and then he was talking about the job working at a service station. He was so young and trying to start a family, and just what a struggle it was, and seeing the need to go back to high school and get that diploma. But telephone number, and you're located both in Lebanon and Mount Juliet.
We're at Stumpy Lane, the old Board of Education building, 351 Stumpy Lane in Lebanon, and just give us a call, 615-443-8731.
All right. One thing I like to ask folks, taking their time to be a guest on here, and this could be either related to adult education or related to your personal life on here. Is there a word of wisdom or a saying you'd like to share about managing to get through life or to keeping a good attitude like you have?
I can tell you it's not anything special that I've invented, but it is just living by the golden rule. You treat others exactly the way you want them to treat you, and to be kind and show love to your fellow man. So that's what I try to do every day.
Well, you can't go wrong with that, and you're doing that.
Thank you.
As a little gift, we also like to share with you a Talking with Tatum commemorative coffee cup, and we also have a few little handy office gadgets there in the cup. So
thank you so much.
Ms. Anderson, thank you again for sharing your time and the story of the Adult Learning Center, and keep up the great work that you're doing about helping folks that want to go back and get that diploma.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning into this episode of Talking with Tatum. Tune in next time. We're going to have some more interesting people that are doing some wonderful things in Wilson County.